Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text 1 to 21. So text number 1, Sri Bhagwan Uvacha Imam Vishwa Te Yogam Proktavanam Avyayam Vivashvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Abrivit.
The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ishvaku.
Text number 2. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarsayo vidu sakaleneha mahata yogo nashta parantapa.
This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost.
Text number 3. Saivayam mayatidya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosmi me sakha cheti rahasyami etottamam.
That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are devotees, because you are my devotees as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science.
Text number 4. Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivashvata Katham Etat Vignatyam Tvamado Proktavaniti.
Arjuna said, the sun god Vivashan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand in the beginning you instructed this science to him?
Text number 5. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Bahuni me Vyatitani Janmani Tavacha Tavarjuna Tani aham Veda Sarvani Natvam Veta Parantapa.
The personality of Godhead said, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy.
Text number 6. Ajo api son of Vyatma Bhutanam Ishwarapi san Prakatim Swamadhishtaya Sambhava Miyatma.
Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form.
Text number 7. Yada yada hi dharmasya gnani bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijanyaham.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religion, in religious practices, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise in religion, at that time I descend myself.
Text number 8. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Text number 9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata tattva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sarjuna.
One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving this body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna.
Text number 10. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mam aparshrita bhavo gnana tapasa puta madbhavamagata.
Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they have all attained transcendental love for me.
Text number 11. Ye yata mam prapadyante tanstateva vijamyaham mama vartamanu vartante manushya sarvasha.
As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha.
Text 12. Kankshata karmanam siddhim ajanta iha devata shiprahim manushya siddhir bhavati karmaja.
Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world.
Text number 13. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasa tasya kartaramapi mam vidya kartaramavyayam.
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
Text number 14. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale shriha iti mam yo apijanati karma birna sadhatyate.
There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work.
Text number 15. Evam gyatva kritam karma purverapi mavukshubhi guru karmeva tasmatvam purve purvataram kritam.
All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps.
Text number 16. Kim karma kima karmeti kavayo api atra mohita tatte karma pravakshyami yajnatva mukhyase subhat.
Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune.
Text 17. Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmana akarmanas cha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati.
The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
Text 18. Karmaniya karma yah pashyed karmani cha karma yah sabuddhima manusyeshu sayukta kritas sayukta kritasna karmakrit.
One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities.
Text 19. Yasasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita gnanagni dagat karmanam tatahum panditam buddha.
One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reaction of work have been burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge.
Text 20. Tvaktva karma phala sangam nityatripto nirashaya karmani abhi pravrittopi neva kinchit karoti sa.
Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings.
Text 21. Nirashayata chittatma tyaktva sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvanapnoti kilibisam.
Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, and please
Hare
excuse
Krishna.
our
Thank you so
mistakes.
much, Lila Vilashni and Ananta Vijay. Very
Hare
nice
Krishna.
recorded. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have our dear Antaranga Prabhu with us today. Antaranga Prabhu, we have all had his association before on this chat groups many times. He is a scholar, very, very well read, and he will, of course, give a wonderful class. Unfortunately, I have another commitment, so I will miss it, but I will listen to the recording later. Now, Antaranga Prabhu may need to leave straight after his class, which means straight after questions and answers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him co-host. And then if you don't mind, let me see. Ananta Vijay, can I make you host? So are you staying till the end?
Yeah, Prabhu, you can make me a host.
Okay, so I'll make you host in case after Antaranga Prabhu leaves, in case somebody needs to adjust something, whatever, you can control it. So let me just do that first. I'm going to make Antaranga Prabhu co-host now, so he can then share the document. And I'll stay online till you share, so we make sure it's working. And then Ananta Vijay Prabhu, I will make you host. So once I make you host, I lose all control. Everything is in your control then.
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, off you go.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Sound check, visual check. Everyone can hear me loud and clear?
Hare Krishna, we can hear you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. I'm very happy to be
Hare Krishna.
So I was requested by Divyanand Prabhu and Mukunda Hari Prabhu to somehow serve you in this way in today's chat session. So thank you all for the lovely recitation. It's actually very nice that you recite, by the way, Gita. Prabhupada wants to give a statement that it was specifically for Gurukulis, right? Young children. And some of the arguments was like, Prabhupada, these kids, they don't actually understand, right? They can maybe memorize the meter, they can learn the shlokas, but what's the value of it if they don't know the essence? And Prabhupada said just by the recitation, just by them associating with the sound vibration which was spoken by Krishna, the samskara or the purificatory aspect, that memory will stay with them for the rest of their life and also for their future lives. So that's very nice that you guys doing it. So all glories to that. So today we're going to go through the 12th verse of the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I believe you recite all the verses, so I just will go straight away into translation. And I don't know, do you have a habit of reading the whole purport, or do you just go straight away into some kind of a presentation?
I think it's the whole purport is read. Nobody.
You already went through it. You already read the purport.
No. I think the speaker he does it, or he asks other people to read it. Sometimes, if it is bigger, this is how it works.
Okay. So we can go through portions. Let's see what we can do. So the translation: men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Purport. There's a great misconception about the gods or demigods of this material world, and men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different parts and parcels. God is one, and the parts and parcels are many. The Vedas say Nityo Nityanam, God is one. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme God is one, Krishna. And the demigods are delegated with powers to manage this material world. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. They cannot be equal to Supreme God Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna. Anyone who thinks that God and the demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or a Pashandi. Okay, so let's do it like this. Let's go slowly through different sections of Prabhupada, maybe elaborate and discuss a bit on it. So this is very interesting concept, right? Prabhupada is very strict on this one. You can see straight away in this one statement, they cannot be equal to Supreme God, Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna. Anyone who thinks that God and the demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or a Pashandi. So let's go very strictly and let's go very directly. So Prabhupada says that those which actually worship the Supreme Lord and the different individual demigods on the same levels are atheists. So this is very interesting statement, because usually the term atheism are those, or is reserved for those who don't believe in God whatsoever, right? There's no God, God doesn't exist, there's only science, there's only mathematics, there's only chemical reactions, correct? But here it is very nicely presented by Srila Prabhupada that even those personalities which think that demigods like Shiva, Durga, Indra, Ganesh, and Krishna and Rama are on the same level, they are considered to be atheists. And for that reason, because they are atheists in the sense that they don't believe in an ultimate and one supremacy as one Krishna, as one supreme personality of God. So this is very interesting. Let's continue reading. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the Lord is worshipped by demigods such as Brahma and Shiva. Shiva Virichi Nutam. Yet, curiously enough, there are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men under the misunderstanding of anthropomorphism or zoomorphism. Iha Devata denotes a powerful man or demigod of this material world, but Narayan or Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, that does not belong to this world. He is above or transcendental to material creation. Even Sripad Shankaracharya, the leader of the impersonalists, maintains that Narayan or Krishna is beyond this material creation. However, foolish people, Rita Jnana, worship the demigods because they want immediate results. They get the results but do not know the results so obtained are temporary and are meant for less intelligent person. So let's go through it again. So is it possible that I can share screen? Okay, I think I can. Okay, let's see if I can do this. Okay, can everyone see it? One confirmation, please.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You
Yes.
can see it. So what I just shown you now is a bona fide website. You can see this called bhagavad-gita.org. And it is mentioned that there are 4 authorized sampradayas, starting with Rudra, Brahma, Shri, and Kumara sampradayas. And all of these 4 sampradayas have representatives or sampradaya acharyas. As we all know, we are part of the Brahma Vaishnava sampradaya, which the head or one of the main representatives is Madhavacharya. So individual sampradayas have their actual commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. So I would like to obviously maintain the standard of Prabhupada purports or Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta purports. But at the same time, I would like to humbly kind of present to you a variety of purports or variety of Acharya presentations on this specific verse. And the reason why I'm doing is this, but that actually Srila Prabhupada was utilizing these purports by different Acharyas, for instance, including Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan, to create his own individual commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. And when you scrutinizingly study these individual purports or these individual commentaries, you'll find actually great points of similarities between what Prabhupada presents and what these Acharyas presents. So one of the interesting things when I studied all of these 4 individual commentary is it's one question which arises. Can everyone read it clearly? Can you actually read it? Can you see it?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So the one question which all of these commentaries have in common is that one similar question is that if the Bhagavad Gita so far introduces the concept that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, how is it even possible that different personalities are actually trying to focus on demigods or on lesser personalities? And the common answer to this question is actually patience, or rather, let's put it other way, impatience, being impatient. So, and the reason of this is we can trace it back to the 4 modes of material nature, right? So the 4 modes of material nature are, 3 modes of material nature are presenting concept of ignorance, passion, and goodness. So our line is the line of goodness and more Shuddha Sattva or pure goodness. But those personalities which are in the mode of passion, their desire is actually to obtain fruitive results. Why fruitive results? Because their conception of Atma or the soul is rather on the level of the body, in terms of, because you know that different individuals' Sanskrit terminologies, they can actually reflect the stage of your consciousness. And this means that stage of consciousness means that if I ask you a question, what does the Atma mean, right? I ask someone, what is an Atma? So Atma means according to your stage of consciousness, right? So Atma means the body, Atma means the mind, Atma means the soul. And obviously there are also other different representations or presentations of the term Atma. So based on the answer of what is the self, or basically what is the Atma, you react with the surrounding cosmos or with the surrounding universe. So if the answer to the question, what is Atma, you said the body, therefore your reactions to the cosmos or your philosophy will be based on this concept. Therefore, this section of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna presents the possibilities and concepts of those which are demigod worshippers. And the reason why they worship the demigods is because they want immediate results. They want to invest and they want to receive. So many of yogis, many of so-called transcendentalists, many of so-called political leaders, they've been worshipping the individual demigods for immediate results. Like you can worship Durga correctly, right, to receive kind of material opulence. You can always worship Ganesh for some kind of opulence. Again, you can worship Shiva, you can worship Saraswati, you can worship Surya, you can worship Chandra, and so on. There's 33 lakhs of demigods, which is 33 million of demigods. But for a devotee, when they approach demigods, they don't see them as a superior leaders, but rather they see them as angas. Anga means a limb, or anga means a portion. So they see them as a portion of the Supreme Lord. And just like there's one queen in this country, right? God save the queen. And there are many ministers and head of the parliament. So think about that. It is an analogy that the queen represents like the god, and all these ministers obviously represent the demigods. So what we're trying to do, we try to intimately connect with these demigods to receive some kind of a best blessings or boons. As mentioned here by Prabhupada, temporary benefit. But instead of, we basically respect the demigods, but we go straight away to the Supreme Lord for bhakti. So interesting enough, in one of the purports, Baladev Vidyabhushan, he presents this terminology jnana, right? In general, Prabhupada and most of us understand the term jnana as knowledge, correct? That's it, end of the game. Sanskrit, jnana means knowledge. But this is a very interesting concept which Baladev Vidyabhushan presents. One of the explanations or possible translations of the term jnana is that by which something is to be known. I will repeat that. That by which something is to be known. Therefore, jnana as such also means a process to achieve certain type of enlightenment. Let's put it that way. So let me ask you a question. What is the best process to know Krishna?
Devotional service.
That's it. Devotional service. So in this way, we can present jnana in the same line as bhakti. We can say that jnana is bhakti. And why I'm mentioning this? Because when these so-called pashyandis, or those which are miscreants and very foolish, they worship demigods. They worship the demigods on the certain level of enlightenment, on a certain level of jnana, a certain level of knowledge. But their knowledge is tinged or basically hampered with this intense mode of passion, right? I invest, I receive. Therefore, those which are in mode of goodness, rather they try to elevate themselves and see beyond this curtain of passion, see beyond this curtain of investment and receiving the investment. And that in that picture comes Vishnu or Narayan or Krishna. So I can continue reading. The intelligent person is in Krishna consciousness, and he has no need to worship the partly demigods for some immediate temporary benefit. The demigods of this material world, as well as their worshippers, will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. The boons of the demigods are material and temporary. Both the material worlds and their inhabitants, including the demigods and their worshippers, are bubbles in the cosmic ocean. In this world, however, human society is mad after temporary things, such as the material opulence of possessing land, family, and enjoyable paraphernalia. Interesting enough, there is a contra argument. Contra argument, which is presented by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's saying that he's posing a question to the reader. He says, if you are a demigod worshipper, to a certain degree, that's good. Because the demigods worshippers, what is the main sort of payment or kind of a try to invite the success or pleasing the demigods? Can anyone tell me?
Can you repeat this question again, Prabhu?
Excuse me?
Would you mind repeating the question again?
Repeating the question. What is this the method of payment to bribe the demigod to kind of to give you some blessings?
To
You worship them.
To do yajna, sacrifice.
Puja, sacrifice, anything else?
Havan? Do Havan?
Havan, yes. Basically, in one term, let's call it yagya, right? Another question. Who do you need to perform the yagya for you?
Priest.
Priest. Who is a priest? What is his occupation?
He should be a Brahmana.
Yes, correctly. So you see the link? Even for you to perform so-called demigod worship, through the medium of yagya, you need a mediator who is a Brahmana. So the logic of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is, if you're lucky and the Brahmana is truly pious Brahmana, and you understand the conclusion, which is, Aham Brahmasmi and Krishna Stu Bhagavan Swayam, then even through the medium of a Brahmana who's to a certain degree or fully Krishna realized, he can actually deliver you rather than just piety, but he can also deliver some bhakti, right? Because if the priest is somehow Krishna conscious in the performance of the yagya to please a certain demigod, rather than his consciousness of perceiving the demigod as the summon bonum or the end of everything, he perceived the demigod as the anga or a limb of the Supreme Lord. So, for instance, you're doing, let's say, Durga Puja, right? And you invite Brahmana, who's a Krishna conscious person. So the consciousness of the Brahmana is not to approach Durga Devi or Maya Devi as a supreme goddesses, but rather as a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the consciousness of the one who performs the yagya purifies the yagya itself. Therefore, the results of the yagya will not be only in the form of karma kanda or in the form of ritualistic ceremony, give and take, but rather there will be also tinge of piety on the level of bhakti. Does it make sense?
Yes, but would the Krishna conscious person would perform the demigod worship? I mean, if somebody wants it.
And that's the interesting thing, right? People see sometimes Ganesh as only as a demigod, but think about it. Ganesh is a great Vaishnava. He's one of the greatest worshippers of Lord Nrsingadev, Nrsinga Bhakta. He's the one who was present in compilation of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was the one who received the, narration of Vyasadeva in compilation of the Vedas and Mahabharata and all the Itihasas. So Ganesh could be observed as a demigod, and he can be observed also as a bhakta. But to answer your question, the devotees are cheeky, right? Cheeky in the sense that they will enter your home in the pretext of worshipping demigods, but somewhere down the lines they will present Krishna Katha. This is how the devotees are cheeky. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is presenting this angle, that even those which are seeking the blessings of demigods, they need the brahmanas, and if they're lucky, the brahmana is a bhakta. So yeah, that's how the devotees are entering amongst the crowd of the karma kandis, and slowly changing their consciousness from karma to bhakti.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll finish the translation, the purport. If a man gets some ministership in the government by worshipping a political leader, he considers that he has achieved a great boon. All of them are therefore kowtowing, sorry, I can't pronounce it properly, to the so-called leaders of big guns in order to achieve temporary boons, and they indeed achieve such things. Such foolish men are not interested in Krishna consciousness for the permanent solution to the hardship of material existence. They are all after sense enjoyment, and to get a little facility for sense enjoyment, they are attracted to worshipping empowered living entities known as demigods. This verse indicates that people are rarely interested in Krishna consciousness. They are mostly interested in material enjoyment, and therefore they worship some powerful living entity. So now the point which I would like to bring is intelligence. Prabhupada mentions in the purport that those which are intelligent worship Krishna. So let me bring some light into term intelligence. What does it mean? Maybe some of you, maybe all of you, maybe none of you heard about this experiment called Marshmallow Experiment. So it's a very interesting experiment. They have big variety of children, age group, I would say between 4 and 6. And in front of these children in the testing area, they give them a plate. And on the plate, there was one marshmallow. And the instruction was like this: if you can wait, I will bring you, instead of 1 marshmallow, I'll give you 3 marshmallows. And then they left the room. So a lot of big proportion of the children, they just straight away grab the marshmallow, boom, chuck them in the mouth. You can call it gulab jamun experiment or rasgulla experiment. I will leave it up to you, or burfi experiment. So straight away, some of the children, they just put it in their mouth. Some of them, they waited. They wait and they wait and they wait. And the person comes back and brings 2 more marshmallows and said, now you can enjoy. So the intelligence means seeing the vision or having the vision of enjoyment, postponing immediate enjoyment for the purpose of the higher enjoyment. So intelligence means those which follow Krishna consciousness are the most intelligent people. And the reason is because their enjoyment investment is beyond this material world. Their enjoyment, the investment of their enjoyment will be repaid in the time of their death. Their enjoyment is not immediate enjoyment like in the mood of these demigod worshippers, which are foolish, pashyandis, in the mood of passion, because their desire is to now, quickly, here, tomorrow, Durga, Shiva, this and that. Does it make sense? So those which are Krishna conscious devotees, they actually have the greatest of all visions, the most highest intelligence. And their intelligence means that it goes beyond immediate sense gratification. It goes beyond immediate result or offerings of this material world. It goes way beyond. It goes to the spiritual realm. Therefore, their enjoyment starts now in the form of, good prasada, nice kirtan, but also there's that restriction from, indulging in unnecessary activities. Therefore, intelligence in this conception or this specific purport means that you prolong your enjoyment until you're in the spiritual world, where you'll be fully, unconditionally, eternally enjoying. So, Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, any points, any notes, or anything devotees will wish to share, please do so now. Hare Krishna. So
it's quite clear. It's so far quite clear. It's quite clear so far.
It's quite clear. But don't be shy. Questions means that you're thinking about the points. So come on, give me something, ask something. There was one point by Surabhi. The definition is changing this verse. Also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was really seen in flesh, considered God, and demigod is not God. Demigod is a post, right? Demigod is an occupation. It's eternal, not eternal in 2 concepts. It's eternal because when the creation begins, certain posts needs to be kind of occupied. So post as such is eternal, just like, for instance, minister. It's an eternal post in the concept of the political kind of sphere, but different individuals will kind of occupy that post over the years. So, which means that in the annihilation of the universe, there will be no demigod, but ultimately there will be a person who's beyond all of that. There will be Krishna, who actually gave or invested the power into the demigods. So I don't know if I understand this question properly. Atheists don't believe in God. So yes, atheists as such.
Said that people who believe in Shiva, Ganesha, they are called as atheists in this verse. So I'm trying to understand that.
Maybe those devotees would like to, if either they want to pose a question or can mute themselves, because there's a bit of an overlap here. So just to answer, yes?
Atheists don't believe in God, in idol worship or God. And this verse says, people who believe in Shiva, Durga, they are atheists. So has the definition of atheist changed in this verse for us or for the convenience? I'm trying to understand that. Sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. So let me just check the dictionary. Dictionary is said, disbelief or lack of belief in the existence of God. So that's the dictionary. But here Prabhupada is putting those who don't believe in God equal to the level of those who believe that all the pantheon of demigods are God. They basically don't believe in one God, they believe in many gods. And that's in the concept of the Gaudiya Vaishnava presentation.
Okay, in this parampara, they are called as atheist, is it?
You need to be slightly louder, please.
So in this parampara, people who believe in other gods are called atheist. That's what I'm trying to understand. Is that so?
Those who believe into
Durga or Ganesha.
Yes, they're
or
not gods.
Shiva.
Yes,
So
that's
they are atheist according to this parampara.
according to the presentation of Srila Prabhupada. Those people who think that Shiva is God, Durga is God, Ganesh is God, Indra is God, and individual demigods are put on the same level as God. Yes, it's considered to be an atheism or a prashandi.
Okay, according to this. Okay, thank you so much. And
Hare Krishna.
may I ask one more question, if that's okay?
Yes, please.
The question on bribe that you said, we offer bribe. Actually, I am away from the idol worship and all that, but I'm not speaking on for myself, but for people around me, people who offer like mantras or prasad to say Shiva or Durga, and they do the same for Krishna. So why is one set called a bribe and the other set called devotional service? May I know that?
Very good question.
Thank you so much.
So you need to understand the hierarchy, right? All the Bhakti Shastras or the scriptures there's one conclusion. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of others are his expansions, are expansions of his expansions. Shiva is the greatest of all the Vaishnavas, and Durga is a very great Vaishnavi, or a very great devotee of the Supreme Lord. If you read carefully Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many sections where themselves as Shiva and Durga are stating, my dear Krishna, you are the Supreme. My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of God. I'm your eternal servant. So I'm not saying that they saying themselves they are not God, serve Lord Vishnu. That's it. That's in a sense of it's an end of debate, because they themselves are making the conclusion and the statement.
Yeah, I was just trying to understand the terms bribe and devotional service. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Palika Mataji.
Hare Krishna. What I wanted to understand is that Srila Prabhupada here says that if anybody believe that all the other demigods and Krishna is the same level, they're the one who is the atheist.
Yes.
But then somebody believe that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the other demigods are his servant. Yes. So that's the clear understanding. So they are not atheist. I mean, they're just saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all the demigods are his servants. So they are not saying that yes, other demigods also supreme. Yeah.
Correct. You have a correct understanding. Yes. I mean, you read Bhagavatam. You read Bhagavatam, and they making their statements. Varuna, Indra, Ganesh, Shiva, Durga, Vayu, Surya, all of them, all of the main pantheon of demigods, they making the statements. Dasosmi, I'm your servant. So it is there. It's all there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The first slide, I think it was the last sentence. I wasn't clear. I wonder if you can clarify it, please, about, about well-read, I think it was, something to do with knowledge. I can't remember quite, but it's points that you should, I'm a bit confused. It says about, that's what the last sentence. But moksha or liberation is only achieved as a result of cultivating Vedic knowledge about the Supreme Lord, and thus it is hard to attain. So it's cultivating the knowledge, meaning putting it in practice, is doing it. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, because I wondered if it was different meaning, because I know it's all well and good having the knowledge, but what do you do with it, and how useful is it?
Yeah.
If you don't sort of, as you know, it says cultivate means you could plant a seed and then it grows and gets better, and you share and care for each other.
Yeah, Jolly, it's like same thing having a cookbook and never cooking from it. You can know it from the first to last page, word by word,
Yeah,
recipe by recipe, timing by timing. But if you never put it to practice, what's the use of that knowledge?
absolutely. That's what I'm keen in, putting it in practice.
Yes, we should definitely. Yeah, that's a very good
Yeah.
point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Like today, we had a meeting. We had an invitation from a good family of Janaki and Prabhu, and one of the things I was meditating upon in the relationship with Janakina was that, you see, you have all this philosophy, right? There's tons of books, thousands upon thousands of pages and thousands of verses, and millions of conclusions and all of this. But if none of this, it doesn't change your heart, this philosophy, and if your character doesn't change, if you're not more peaceful, happier, kinder, jolly, relaxed, devoted, then what's the use of all of these words?
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
but he achieved that, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a very jolly person.
He was amazing. He achieved all the goodness from it. Yeah, well read as well as, yeah.
So the result of the knowledge is cultivation of character.
Yes, absolutely.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you.
This is Mamta Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I just was going back to the previous question of Mataji was asking about the bribery thing, about the demigods. I don't know, I think maybe in the previous one of the classes yourself had discussed where the demigods take the post of, as you were mentioning, of all the, like example in our ministry, going to the prime minister. I mean, we see one of the ministers, so we take the ministers as one of the demigods by recommendation. So our recommendation over there, I mean, to see Krishna or to see the prime minister. I mean, I don't know whether, so that's why it is told as bribery, and that recommendation is called bribery in that sense, but not as bribery. Where the same, when you can go straight, go and meet the prime minister, that is different. So when you meet him, you don't have to recommend anyone. Whereas if you have to go through a separate channel, then you have to put in a recommendation to go and visit the prime minister. The same way, I think the same offering can become a recommendation and can become an offering, depending upon what path you take. So that is where it can have the same different meanings. When you say like offering to Shiva and Devi and all that becomes bribery sort or recommendation, and whereas offering to Krishna becomes an offering. I don't know whether that
you see,
am I right in that? Or I don't know, Prabhuji, please explain my understanding.
You may have a genuine sentiment for these demigods, and I'm completely okay with that. If that's your desire, then that's your desire. So, but if you truly want to worship those personalities, like there's a pastime of there was a great Shiva Bhakta, and the Shiva Bhakta was worshipping Shiva for such long time with great love and great devotion and great attachment. And his prayer was, please give me the highest of boons and highest of benedictions that you may bestow upon the living entity, or specifically on your Bhakta. And Shiva gave him the benediction to meet Rupa and Sanatana in Vrindavan. You see, so if you really desire to develop relationship with those specific demigods, then follow truly what they want. And if they are the highest devotees of Lord Vishnu, the best benediction they can give is the association of a devotees. So it's just like saying, I'm a follower of Prabhupada, but I will not follow his disciples. If you really are a follower of Prabhupada, then you will follow his disciples or serve his disciples. Or I'm follower only of my Prabhupada disciples, I'm not following of Prabhupada. This doesn't make sense. So if people are truly those which want to serve Shiva and Durga and Ganesh, they better become Krishna Bhaktas. because that's what those personalities truly desire of you.
They are part of Krishna. They come from Krishna.
You see, it is
The expansions of Krishna.
Yes, just yeah, there are different tattvas. Shiva
Yes.
is a tattva on its own. It's a different, completely different kind of a section. Durga is a Shakti, so she's a Shakti tattva, and you are a Jiva tattva. So they're in individual sections, and yes, just they're coming from Krishna, just like you and me. But again, their greatest boon up to you is that you become servant of Krishna rather than servant of them.
Yes, of course, of course. I was just thinking like everything which emanates in this world is from Krishna. So from the right side, we have Balarama and then his plenary expansions. And from the left is Radharani and whatever her expansions. So everything, whatever is in this world is from Krishna.
Yeah, that's true.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Any other points, dear devotees?
So does it mean if you wholeheartedly serving the demigods, especially Shiva, he will more or less lead you to Krishna if you're pure-hearted? Is that right?
Correct.
So yeah, okay, cheers. Haribol.
Thank you. Okay, dear devotees, there is a message here from Santosh Prabhu. We are having the Damodarashtakam from 8:40. Okay, wonderful. So it's 1 minute to 8:40. So in that case, thank you so much for today's session. I hope it was clear and I hope the message of demigod worship was delivered. Thank you for your patience and tolerance.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very clear.
Thank you very much.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Thank you,
everyone.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
well done.
Waranga. Good night.
Prabhuji, please don't leave at the moment because through the chat session, the Damodar Ashtakam is taking place. We're not closing the session as such.
I will have to go because I'm waking up early tomorrow and I'm making.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I will take
So,
if you don't mind, please.
so we can carry on with the chat. If we can invite Girish Prabhu to sing the Ashtakam, please, and Pinky Mataji to translate. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Dear devotees, please stay and listen to the Damodar Ashtakam. Thank you. When you're ready, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Namami Swaram Sachi Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajmanam Yashoda Violukalad Davamanam Param Stam Atyanto Drudaya Gopaya Rudam Tam Murnetra Yupam Brajantam Karam Bhoja Yugmena Stankanetram Muhuswasakam Patri Rekhanka Kantha Sthita Grevam Damodram Bhakti Badaham Iti Drikswalila Bhir Anand Kunde Swagosam Nimajantam Akhyapayantam Tadiye Sitageshu Bhaktirjitatvam Punha Prematastam Satvritvande Varam Deva Moksam Na Moksavadhim Va Nachanyam Vraneham Vare Sadapiha Idam Teva Purnatha Gopal Balam Sada me manasya vristam kimanye idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nile vratam kuntale snigdha raktescha gopya muhuschambitam bimba rakta dharam me manesya vristam alam laksalabhe Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखा जलधिलमग्नम् कृपा दृष्टिवृत्याति दीनं बतानु घृणे सा मम ज्ञमेधे अक्षिदृश्या कुबेरात्मजो बाधा मृत्येव यद्वत् त्वया मोचितो भक्ति भजो कृतु च तथा प्रेम भक्तिं स्वकं मे प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे गृह्णो मेस्ति दामोदरेह नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोद्रयथा विश्वस्य दाम्ने नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देव्यतुभ्यं नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाय नमो अनन्तलीलाय देव्यतुभ्यं हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose spark-sharp earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who I, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her who ran after him with greater speed. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara, hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon, which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Bal Gopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you, O Damodar, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord. Be pleased upon me by showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodar, just as the two sons of Kuvera, Manigriv and Nala Kuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your own Prem Bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodar, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, that was very, very nice. Thank you, Girish Prabhu, for the wonderful bhajan, and to Pinky Mataji for the very sweet recitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you very
Krishna.
much.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful
Hare Krishna,
recitation.
beautiful bhajan and
Hare
recitation. Sorry,
Krishna,
Mataji.
lovely.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Beautiful
Krishna.
singing. Thank you. Hare
Beautiful
Krishna.
singing and
Hare
beautiful
Krishna, everyone.
recitation.
Thank
And
you.
translate.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, beautiful singing.